Hey everyone, welcome back to Beyond the 529. Every October, parents and students have to go through the process of filling out the necessary financial aid applications. The most common of these and the most well-known is the FAFSA, or the Free Application for Federal Student Aid. But a lot of families don't realize that certain schools will require you to use a different financial aid application or a specific one that they have developed. Today's video is part 2 of 2, where I'm going to cover some of the most common mistakes that you need to avoid when filling out the FAFSA. I'm Mike Bink, founder and president of Equivest Financial Advisors. I've helped hundreds of families throughout the country develop strategies to win the game of paying for college. I can help your student pick the right schools to get as much free money as possible, maximize your family's finances to get more financial aid and scholarships, minimize your student loan debt by picking the right student loans, and pay for college as efficiently as possible to lower your costs by thousands of dollars, all while protecting your family's retirement. If you'd like to learn more about how we can help you develop a plan to implement strategies like this, please click the link in the description below to learn how you can become our client. Mistake number 4 is not completing the FAFSA application every year. Completing the FAFSA in senior year of high school is the most important time to complete the application because it sets the baseline for your financial aid at the school that you're going to be attending for all 4 years. However, it's a good idea for you to file each year your student is in school because, again, your financial circumstances are likely to change through the course of those few years. So especially if you're in a position to be able to get more financial aid, you want to make sure to file that application again. Mistake number 5 might seem somewhat obvious, but it's making mistakes on the form itself. So things like your social security number, entering financial values, you want to make sure that you double and triple check those to make sure that they're accurate. And you want to make sure that you understand the definitions of the terms that the application is using. Like, what do they mean by household size or marital status? While those examples might be pretty straightforward, there are a lot of fields on the application that are not that clear. Another common mistake that we see is parents entering in their information under the student's lines and vice versa. You want to make sure the financial data you're inputting into the form is attributed to you, the parent, as opposed to your student, where it's going to be treated differently from a financial aid standpoint. And if you're from a divorced household, it's critical to understand how divorced parents are supposed to file the FAFSA. Understanding which parent is the custodial parent and who's ultimately going to have the main responsibility for entering that information into the form. One of the ways that you can avoid a lot of the mistakes that are often made in filling out the form itself is by avoiding mistake number 6, which is to not use the data retrieval tool that's provided by the IRS. The data retrieval tool pulls the figures directly from your tax return and plugs them into the correct forms in your FAFSA. Doing this can save a lot of time and it'll avoid entry mistakes or misunderstanding on where some numbers are meant to go. Mistake number 7 is not listing all of the schools that your student is planning to apply to when filling out the application. Unless your student is only applying to one school, you want to make sure to list all of the colleges that they're potentially interested in, so that way those schools will automatically get the results of your application. Adding additional schools does not impact your financial aid in any way, so it's a lot easier to list a school ahead of time that you may or may not be interested in or ultimately end up applying to, rather than to leave it off the application and then have to go back and send them the results separately. The last common mistake that you want to avoid when filling out the FAFSA is to not sign the application. That might sound fairly obvious, but you'd be amazed how many people run into issues with this step. What you want to remember is that your dependent students and you, the parent, both need to sign the FAFSA with your FSA ID. If you're not sure what the FSA ID is or how to go about getting one for you or your student, please make sure to check out my other video where I go into detail on exactly what that is and where you can go about getting one. While the FAFSA is a detailed application and can sometimes seem overwhelming, it's a critical piece to your overall financial aid puzzle. So you want to make sure to take your time, complete the application, and do it as early and accurately as possible. If you've heard any stories from other parents about FAFSA mistakes that they've made that I didn't cover in today's video, please make sure to let me know about them in the comment section below. Also, if you'd like to learn more about what the FAFSA application is and what goes into it, please make sure to check out my other video, Tips for Filling Out the FAFSA. If you found the information that I covered in today's video to be valuable, I'd love it for you to like the video, share it with your family and friends, and by all means, click the subscribe button below for additional video and tips to help you win the game of paying for college. If you'd like to learn more about how we can help you and your student develop a plan to navigate all of the different schools that you plan to go to and all of the different financial aid applications that you need to be aware of and how to manage your finances to make sure that you get the best results possible, please make sure to click the link in the description below to learn more about becoming our client. Thank you and good luck going beyond the 529.